let's just be honest, most 380s kind of suck to shoot. Actually, the vast majority of them either are too big and you might as well carry a 9, or they're too small and they just really suck to shoot. And no matter what size gun you have, if it's too small and you can't hit the broadside of a barn, it really does you no good. It's almost like a loaded paperweight. And very few companies have been able to hit the 3 most important C's of concealed carry. That being concealability, capability, and capacity. Today I'm going to show you one that got close, but there's still one little problem I think with it. But I am going to talk about the pros and cons. This of course is the new Bodyguard Carry Comp version. I am going to tell you the improvements they made in the Carry Comp version, do a little bit comparison to the original, but tell you something I really wish they would have added to this gun. I think it would have just made it that much better. Actually, there's 2 things. So I'd love to hear your opinion on what is the best pocket gun or 380. Is there a need that you think that these smaller guns actually have in your carry rotation or not? Let me know your opinion down below. Let's go and jump right in. Let's look at the new one. 3.1 inch ported barrel. You're 5.85 inches in overall length, 4 inches high. It comes with one 10-round mag and an additional extended 12-round mag, coming in at 11.8 ounces unloaded. When you compare that to the original, which has a 2.75 inch barrel, so what is that, 3/10 of an inch roughly, about the same height, but this one was 9.8 ounces unloaded, and of course a little bit shorter. So like I said, the original Bodyguard completely sucked, so they didn't set the bar high in that aspect. But with the Bodyguard 2.0, they got close to making, you know, kind of the perfect pocket gun. And it does a lot of things really well in this market, right? They were able to get the capacity increased, right? 10, 12 round mags. The concealability is there, super light, concealable, and mostly capable. Now, here's something you don't want to do if you get any of these small micro 380s, super compact, micro compact, whatever we're calling them these days. You don't want to ruin the size of the gun with some big honking heavy duty ridiculous holster. And so that's why I work with holster I have now for over 10 years. Over 20,000 people have trusted my advice when it comes to a good concealed carry holster that isn't going to add a ton of weight or a bulky profile to your small carry guns. That really goes for any gun, but especially these small guns. One way they achieve this is by cutting away some of the material that you simply don't need. Every angle, corner, inch, and diameter has been thoroughly thought through and made to make sure that every bit of the material that is not needed isn't there, and what is needed to have a secure lockup and snap into place is there. They are open down at the bottom. Helps a little bit of dust fall through, but if you have a threaded barrel, something like that, it will accommodate that as well. They make them, of course, now optics ready. The Profile Plus being one of my favorite holsters that they've ever made. Tuckable versions now, outside the waistband, inside the waistband. The Profile is still one of the best holsters, if not the best, when it comes to concealability, light, and just super easy to take on and off. You can go with the strong polymer clips, you can go with their steel clips, you can go with their soft loops, whatever option works best for you, and they are discounted through my channel. So if you're looking for a holster for a ton of different firearms, go over to Tolster, use the link down below, and if you decide that they're a good fit for you, make sure you use the discount code down below as well. Outside of the ported barrel and of course the lightning cuts in the slide, they made some improvements to the slide serrations. They gave you some more gripping area up on top of the slide, and they really added, you know, competitor style serrations. I think they've completely eliminated the fish scales now, which is a good move. They just added more of them here, right? They put them closer together so you have more gripping area, more gripping surface. Makes a little bit of a difference. I think the ones on the Bodyguard 2.0 were just fine. I don't notice that much of a difference, but if you get them, you know, some humidity, if it's a hot day, hands sweating, things like that, rainy conditions, maybe you will see that difference. This one definitely gives a little bit of a better bite for sure. You also have a kind of little bit of a wing milled into the back of the slide for extra grip there. That's one problem. The smaller the gun, the kind of harder they are to manipulate them. But the battery arms on this one's pretty good. So they made some changes there as well. You also get the Ameriglow sights on this one, blacked out in the rear with that Luma green, whatever Ameriglow calls it. It's kind of like a bright yellow, greenish color. Really draws your eye to that front sight really well. I think the ones on the original were actually pretty good too, but one thing they did is they actually made the notch a little bit smaller on the new one, I noticed. So it leaves a little bit less room for error, but should increase your accuracy a little bit too. A little bit longer sight radius as well, so that'll give you a little bit of advantage over the original too. Same great stippling where they leave it a little lighter on the side where it could potentially rub up against your skin, and then they have it more aggressive on the front and the back strap. This is something they've been working on trying to perfect, I guess, now since the 2.0 M&Ps, where they went uber aggressive all the way around. Then they've toned it back, and now I think they finally got a pretty good balance there, especially for these carry guns where it really makes a difference if you're carrying inside the waistband or, of course, pocket carry. You have a little viewport so you can see your brass down in the chamber. Slide release your controls on the left-hand side, of course. No slots for a rail on this gun. It's 0.88 inches, by the way, the slide width is. Now, overall, where the gun shines, though, is at the range if you shoot it back-to-back with a gun like this, or especially if you shoot it compared to something like the LCP2. Now you're really going to see what Smith & Wesson has done. This is where they were able to take the Bodyguard 2.0 and make it a little bit more capable while still remaining the capacity and the ability to control it. They made that a little bit easier as well. So that port makes a big difference in the felt recoil and the muzzle rise that you're going to experience. And that's a great thing, man, with these 380s, dude. They get so small sometimes that they just become like really a task to shoot. And this is something that we talk about in concealed carry. You can carry the smallest caliber, the smallest 380 out there. Again, I think these guns have their place, but if you can't hit your target, it doesn't matter what caliber it is. So you're always looking for that balance between controllable, capable, capacity, and almost all of these guns have lacked the capacity, lacked the controllability, lacked the capability, essentially, unless somebody was right on top of you. Smith & Wesson was able to take that and make a real shooting type of pistol, something you can actually feel confident in without adding too much weight. Here's where I think they missed the mark a little bit and could have elevated this gun even more. First of all, if they would have added like 2 more ounces, I think it would have made it much more shootable. Some people may agree or disagree. You can let me know down in the comments below. That's just fine. But I think 2 to 3 more ounces would have really helped this gun out, just to keep that muzzle down just a little bit more. More importantly, though, is adding the ability to put an optic on this gun. I've become a big believer in this for concealed carry purposes because, let's be honest, they're already hard enough to shoot. You up the capability more than what it already is. Unfortunately, they opted to not make it optics ready, and in my opinion, in 2025, that's something that should have been added on this gun. Now, it's a little bit of a challenge right now. Amongst one of the slimmest you'll have is like the Shield RMSC. You have the Leupold Delta Micro Dot, but I think that one actually installs in the dovetail. Here's the point, though. Neither you nor I have to come up with that R&D. That's something Smith & Wesson could have went to a company and figured that thing out to be able to get that capability. It just, man, it makes so much of a difference on these guns, especially the smaller guns. I'm a huge believer in this now. So anyways, is what it is there. Overall, the improvements they made, though, they made this a much more shootable, much more enjoyable gun without sacrificing any of the important things that make a good concealed carry gun in 2025. Fantastic, man. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it like a 9 overall. It's amongst one of the best 380s on the market. Few cons, but that's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know what you think down below. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.